Hi guys, Keith here. Thought I'd share a little bit about how to take this hand painted lettering off of this brand new Turbo Dodge I've got in here today. I've been taking stuff off these trucks for over 40 years. I found a couple of new ideas that work really quick. Of course, we've all heard of Easy Off Oven Cleaner is the best way, or has been anyway, to take this stuff off. So I just want to share this with you real quick in this video. And first thing we want to do is go ahead and clean the area really well, and we want to mask this area off. So let's get that part done ASAP. Okay, like I said, let's get this thing masked up. I like to use masking tape. I don't use any kind of duct tape or anything like that, because the stuff that we put on here will attack the adhesive as well on this tape and kind of be a bigger mess. I've taken lettering off a truck for years now, and a couple of things you want to be careful of is, if you're doing this on a freshly painted truck and the letters are not that old, I would not use this procedure, because Easy Off Oven Cleaner and any other product that you might use is going to definitely soften up the original paint on this truck. And so we want to be very, very careful with this. This whole procedure is, you're going to have to sit here and babysit it the entire time. So we're going to get this masked off, papered up, and then I'll go into the next few steps. Okay guys, we got it all masked up and looking good. A couple of things I want to warn you about when you're doing this. If there's any chrome, like if you're doing a big truck like a semi or whatever, there's tanks below it, or the steps, or the handles, or anything that's chrome. Remember, you're working with really toxic shit here, so you don't want to get any of that on any chrome, the door handles, or anything like that, because it will discolor them, and it will. They just spent thousands of dollars to get their tanks polished. If you drop any of this toxic stuff on it, it's going to definitely discolor it, and you'll end up paying for another polish job, and it stains it really bad. Also, another thing I highly want you to know is, do not do this in the sun. The sun will dry this remover off really quick. We don't want it to eat into the original paint of the truck. Otherwise, you're going to be painting the door. So I found this new stuff. It's like oven cleaner, but it's called Goof Off, and it's actually graffiti remover. I found it at Ace Hardware. But the cool thing is, it's not as acidy, I want to say, as Easy Off. It doesn't burn your hands as quickly, and it seems to work better. And I just did a complete fleet of trucks with this stuff, and it came off really well. The other thing you're going to need to go get is, I highly recommend these. You can get this at Ace Hardware as well. They're just plastic razors. They're super cheap. Instead of using a squeegee, this works way better. The other thing you're going to need is definitely rubber gloves. These are going to protect your fingernails from turning yellow. Anyway, also you're going to need at least a couple different kinds of rags. I use the shop paper towels, and as well as a cloth rag. Have those on hand. And any kind of spray cleaner. This is the best I've used for years and years and years. I'm not pushing any of these products. I'm just saying this is what I use. And so, or Windex or any kind of water-based cleaner, because the water will neutralize the acid and the lye that's in these products, so it quits biting into whatever it's attacking. Okay, so those are the things that you're going to need. Oh yes, definitely have protective eyewear. Don't get this shit in your eyes. It'll do permanent damage. So you kind of have to use the utmost caution when you're doing this. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, don't do it in the sun. Make sure it doesn't get on any chrome or any other parts of the truck, because it will discolor it. And then we'll go from there. Okay, a lot of times we don't know, you know, how or what kind of paint this is for sure. It's got to be some kind of enamel, although they're making urethane paints now that are made for lettering and pinstriping. Those are a lot harder to get off, and that's a whole nother series. But this is definitely enamel, because I know, because I did it. And this has been on here for, I'd say, almost 3 years now. So I happen to know what it already is, but a lot of times the stuff that we're working with, you don't. But I can pretty much guarantee it's usually enamel. The urethanes haven't been out for probably more than, 5 years or so. But anyway, that's what we're going to be dealing with here. Luckily, I know you definitely want to always shake this stuff up. And you want to just get in here. And spray these areas. Usually black comes off really quickly, no matter what it is. Black is kind of funny. You should probably wear a respirator, or at least a mask of some sort, like a particle mask. Now this is very much light, easy off oven cleaner. But like I said, it's another product. The only reason I found it was I couldn't find any easy off, and I ended up finding this graffiti remover, and it acts just like it. And I put it on pretty sparingly at first. And the shit does stink. Move this in, kind of take a look at it. And we're gonna let this sit for, the thing is, you can't go out and smoke, you can't answer your phone, you can't go do nothing. You gotta sit here and babysit this, or you're gonna damage the truck itself, and it's gonna cost you a lot more money. So let's just sit here and kind of watch it. I'm gonna give it probably at least 3 to 5 minutes. Okay guys, I moved the light over here where I can see it a little bit better. I like putting a garbage can right by me, because this shit is bad news. It looks like it's ready. I've had it on there for about 4 minutes. Using a plastic blade, you're not going to dig into the car itself, the paint itself. So I'll keep scraping. Now, sometimes we're pretty lucky like that, and this literally just comes right off. And there's always going to be, always going to be a little bit of thick spots here and there. That you're going to have to come back and mess with. But again, using these plastic razors, it's key to getting this where you want it. Sometimes I catalyze my paint that I put on these trucks, probably about 80% of the time. And the catalyst just makes it, I call it glue, to adhere a little bit better and dry a little harder, although if a guy has used that kind of paint and that kind with kick in it or catalyst, it's going to take a little bit longer to eat into the enamel here. But you can see how quick. Now, the older the paint is, the more difficult it's going to be. Like I said, this is probably, I'd say at the most three years old. So we're pretty lucky there. This truck has been sold, and so we want to make it look as good as possible. A lot of times that what will happen too is if this logo has been on here for let's say about 6 years or so, the letters have actually protected the paint underneath it, so you're going to have a shadow, like a ghost shadow of the logo after you get it off. And the only way to deal with that is to a little bit of 1000 grit wet and buff it, and it should look just fine. Don't try and get I have a mat on the floor down here. I don't want to get it on the floor. I don't want to get it in my lap. I don't want to get it in my sandals or my tennis shoes. It's not as bad as battery acid by any means, but it will mess with your stuff. But I was pretty impressed with it because it's a graffiti. I mean, the go-to has always been Easy Off Oven Cleaner. And of course, they make a million different flavors of Easy Off Oven Cleaner now. Get the original yellow can, straight up, old-fashioned oven cleaner, not lemony fresh bullshit or anything like that. Because we didn't have it back in them days. See, it's coming off really well. Better than I expected, actually. You'll notice that black comes right off. Black is pretty weak. Most blacks are in any kind of color. Okay, now we don't want this to dry up like we're gonna have spots back here. And you can see where it's starting to turn white. That's drying up. Now, if you were outside and you were in the sun, that would happen almost immediately. And then you're gonna be in some deep shit, because it's really hard to get it off. Now what I did is I neutralized it right here. So basically what I'm doing is neutralizing the light or whatever's in this particular product. The water stops it from eating. And that would be a good start right there. Again, I want to caution everybody about getting this on any kind of chrome. You'll ruin that chrome real fast. Or I wanna also enclose the area so I'm not getting spray all over. Because it goes places you can't even imagine. Okay, I'm gonna come back and just hit some of these spots again real quick. I've seen people use this and then they just think they can run a hose on it, and that's not going to work very well. This has always worked for me for years. I've been doing this for about 47 years, and this is kind of the best. So I really love this product because it's not as toxic as the oven cleaner. Okay, let's let that sit. Another quick 5, and we'll come back and see what we got. All right, that's been about five minutes at the most. It's coming off very nicely, perfectly. I'd like to get you a little bit closer so you can see this. I don't want to put any big scratches in this truck door, and if you use a regular blade, you know how it is. You're going to slip and it's going to just take a big old chunk out of the door, and then you might as well have just painted it in the first place. But you can see how it's coming off very nicely. Again, you don't want this shit sitting on there very long. Believe me, I have messed up enough trucks in my career to know. And again, it's going to be a little bit different each time, depending on the circumstances, of course, and how old the paint is. Okay, we just have a few more spots here. You can kind of see them here and there. Now, I come back with a little bit of lacquer thinner on these little spots and they'll come right off. So there we have it. We're gonna go ahead and spray this down again. I do this every single time because I don't want any rogue cleaner anywhere. I'm using a regular rag on here, cotton rag. I don't use polyester or anything. I use cotton for all my rags. All right, see. The quicker we can get this off, the less damage is going to happen to the door itself. I wouldn't recommend this, but this is what I've done most of my career. Is if you got a good thumbnail, you just come in here, you take all these little tiny spots right off. And it's just your thumbnail. Because you got to realize this paint has already been under the influence of the cleaner. So it's lost its integrity, and and it's lost its way, and there it goes, and that's kind of how it is in life sometimes, right? Okay, I'm going to just use a spot of lacquer thinner. I wouldn't recommend this if you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're not going to need much. This is factory paint. It's pretty solid. Again, do not do this in the sun. If you're outside, try and find a shady spot. Okay, let me grab that thinner, and we're almost done. Okay, I got the thinner. This is just a regular lacquer thinner wash. It's a wash thinner. It's not super hot, but it immediately will take off all these little tiny spots. It's good that we have squeaky, because that means that we got it off quick enough where it's not affecting the original paint. And I can see where there's a shadow. I don't know if you guys can see it on the video, but there's a little bit of a shadow. If you look at, oh yeah, if you look at it sideways and in the light, there's a bit of a shadow in there, but a little bit of compound will take care of that. Okay, let's neutralize that thinner real quick. It's pretty cool. It pays pretty good too. A lot of folks don't know how to get this shit off. And it's really not that hard, although you have to really babysit this stuff. Kind of like my Chihuahua. Gotta watch her all the time. All right, it's looking good. Although I can still see that shadow in there. So we're going to take just a little bit of compound. There won't be necessary to sand anything on this particular job. Sometimes you might have to. Sometimes it'll be super stubborn, and or some of the work that I do, I'll Scotch-Brite it before I paint it, which also helps with the adhesion. And if a guy did that, then it's almost impossible to take off this way. You're going to have areas, but the Scotch-Brite doesn't scratch it as much when you first put it on, so it will easily buff off. All right, let me grab a little bit of compound, and we're almost done with this shit. All right, we got our compound, and our little buffer this is all I'm going to need here. I won't have to break out the big one. I personally use CSI compound. To me, CSI is, I don't have a link to it or anything, but it's CSI compound. It's a one and done. I mean, this stuff polishes. It's just, I mean, it's incredible. I don't use anything but this. That'll be enough to do what we need to do. You just want to spread that compound around evenly. Now remember, when I pull this tape off, there's going to be residue from the cleaner. Of course, your battery always goes dead. Hang on, let me grab another battery. Son of a All right.
There you go.
All right. I don't see no more shadows. So we're looking good, guys. I think we got it. So you gotta always remember, I mean, this is the one of not very many supercharged Dodge pickups. And, you know, it's probably about a $120,000 truck. And if they're gonna try and resell it, we don't want it to, this part to look like shit. So let's go ahead and get it unmasked. As you can see, that residue I was talking about, the border. The border, we're not going to worry about it too much. It should wipe up, but just to make sure. Just to make sure, we're going to go over it real quick with a buffer as well. Just to make sure that, oh yeah, it's not looking too bad. Just to make sure you don't have any issues. A couple of stubborn little flat pieces right there. They're gone. Just a quick run over. We were able to save my pinstriping. They didn't want that off. They didn't want that to come off, so. And there you have it, guys. Looking great, looking good. No more issues, and that was almost pretty much all in real time, except for a couple of the weights. So there you have it. I'm going to get a little closer for you. Nice and clean, no residue, no scratches. Looks great. All right, guys, well, that's how I do it. And again, just be really careful. Do not do it in the sun. Like I said, be careful. Make sure you use plastic razor blades. And that's just a process. This one came off fairly easy. So sometimes there'll just be some super stubborn parts. And I literally have to get 1000 grit. I like using 1000 because it will buff out with this CSI. And you might have to get a few spots like that, just depending on how old it is. So anyway, now I'm gonna add some this pinstriping and carry it on through the door a little bit. And hope that helps you a little bit. And again, this is the new stuff that I use off of instead of the Easy Off. It seems to take the paint quicker, and it's a little less worrisome. And I think this is made by Safety Clean. I'm not sure, but anyway, I know that probably Home Depot and Ace Hardware will probably have it. So hey, it's been fun, huh? All right, we'll talk next time. Later. Okay guys, Dirty Fingers, back at you. If this video helped you out just a little bit, give me a little bit of a follow or a like or whatever the hell you do on this thing, and And I'd like to share more of my experiences of everything that we do here, from pinstriping to lettering. And maybe you guys won't make as many mistakes as I have in my career. But anyway, if it helped out, glad to help you out. Later.